Teofimo Lopez crashes out on social media, talking crazy about Turkey, calling Turkey a dictator after Jaron Ennis turns down a fight with Teofimo Lopez. You're on record saying that this fight didn't make sense. I didn't think it made sense either. What's your thoughts on it?
I mean, that's just exactly what just happened. It didn't make sense. It didn't make sense because Teo talking out his ass about how he had beat Boots, but you had a okay fight with Barbosa. I say okay because skill-wise you was on point and all that, but you ain't finishing. Anybody else would have finished him. They would have knocked that kid out. No disrespect to Barbosa, but he put himself in line to be knocked out. So if you was on your job, you would have knocked him out. So how you go from that, Steve Claggett, how you go from Santillan, is it?
No, Sandor Martin, Jermaine Ortiz. All
of those fights, you struggle, and now all of a sudden you could beat Boots in this? Cut it out. Cut it out. I don't know. It just didn't make sense because if Boots would have fought that kid, right, he would have ended that kid's career. No bullshit. Again, we haven't heard anything from Stanionis. You know what I'm saying? That's the kind of beatings he giving out. What was the point? Teo would have got paid, would have made some money, but that would have been the last time. It would the only time he would have fought after that, maybe if it was a local show, something small, but he wouldn't have been no more big shows. He ain't really that impressive. He haven't been since 35. You know what I mean? So it's a wrap for all that.
My thing is, when did people start clamoring for this fight? It just seemed like when Tim Bradley talked about how dangerous this fight was and that Eddie should be wary, that somehow people started asking for it, because I remember when this fight was talked about right after Virgil Ortiz, they called Boots a weight bully. There go Boots weight bullying again. There go Boots pulling up somebody from 140 again. And then now all of a sudden Boots is ducking. Like,
right.
Come on.
What's the name would beat Teo? What's my man name? The Ukrainian.
Who's Stanionis?
No.
Oh, Karen Chikadze?
No. My man. Russian.
Who, David Avenesian?
No. Before him, when he fought him during the bubble. Boots fought him during the bubble.
Oh, Sergey Lipinets.
Lipinets would beat him. Would beat Teo. Teo is like, you know what I'm saying, he light. But what I was trying to say was, somebody asked me, they said, well, why do we want to see Bud? How is Bud not too small for Canelo? Again, Canelo's not a natural 68-pounder. That's one. Two, Bud Crawford was dominant at 47. 54, he fought one fight, just to let y'all know I can fight here. You know what I'm saying? This ain't too much of a problem for me. Yeah, it's not so easy to knock out a guy who's jumping around the ring. We saw that because he even fought Virgil and gave Virgil the same trouble. Not trouble where he couldn't handle it, but like, slow down. Let me knock you out real quick. You know what I'm saying? He not that kind of guy. So when we talking about Bud, that's the difference. Bud has been impressive outside of that fight with what's that kid name? The one we just talking about. Madrimov. He's impressive. Outside of that, Teo hasn't been impressive at all. He ain't been impressive to me since Lomachenko fight. And the only reason he was so impressive in that fight because how young he was and how he approached it. But remember, he was a very hungry fighter at that time. He not hungry no more. He not hungry. And he done turned into a whore. Because he'd do anything for money. He even put a wig on recently and some eyeliner. So we done with him. I'm done with him. He don't get no money over here. And Boots Ennis would have killed him. He would have killed him, Mel. Come on, Mel. He would have murdered that kid. We don't want to see that.
I see guys use the logic in which Teo's two-division lineal champion, who has Boots beaten, Teo beat Josh Taylor, Teo beat Vasyl Lomachenko. Here's the problem with that logic. What you do at smaller weight classes, while it matters career-wise, it has no relevance in the other weight class. It doesn't mean you'll be successful in the other weight class. Josh Taylor was very successful at 140. He moves up to 47 and loses to a guy that the average boxing fan doesn't know who the fuck he is, and Echo Usman.
Okay.
But people want to act like weight classes don't matter. He went up there and lost to a guy that if Boots would have fought, if Brian Norman would have fought, they would have been like, who the fuck is that? Who the fuck is that guy?
Yeah, and that's, that's it. But people gonna learn, though. People gonna learn. And it don't matter if they learn or not, because at the end of the day, they still gonna watch this shit. But the thing is, to ever think that Teofimo Lopez was ready for Boots Ennis. That's why I didn't get mad when Tim Bradley was saying those things. I knew what Tim was doing. I grew up with dudes like Tim. You know what I'm saying? I knew that. Tim Bradley is a smart man for sure. You know what I mean, on some real shit, he is. Well, he knew what Boots would do to him. That's why he was trying to. Oh yeah, he is no way he can. He's the most athletic and no, he knew what the fuck was going on. He knew what was going to happen if he would have gotten there. They would have tried to come up with something, bro. But Tio ain't have no leverage. That's another thing. Tio don't have no leverage. Tio couldn't put out there. Oh, all right. Well, if we fight, I need a 10-pound weight clause after the weigh-in. If we fight, he can't wear those gloves. He don't have that type of leverage. So did he want that fight? Fuck no. Because you would have been fighting a full-fledged Boots Ennis. He killed you. The end.
Yeah, your man Teofimo Lopez crashes out.
Yeah.
Dan Rayfield reported that him and Devin had already agreed to a 145-pound catchweight bout.
Yeah.
I think it's like August 14th or August 16th. But now that fight is in jeopardy after talking greasy about Turki Al-Ashiki.
Yeah.
You got people that are feeling like that Tio is ducking death. Yeah. That he's been ducking death for years. And that he keeps focusing on Jaron Ennis when Jaron Ennis isn't interested.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on him putting that out about Turki, knowing that the death fight was agreed to?
And the fight in general. What did he say exactly?
He called Turki a dictator. Like D-I-C-K, tater.
Oh, man. You gotta be careful with them guys. They believe in different things in different countries. You know what I'm saying? Like if you steal, they cut your hands off and shit like that. You know what I mean? So when you say shit like that, you gotta be careful. I don't know. Tio he frustrated, man. You gotta be real. He frustrated. He's fighting with himself about who he really is and what it is that he really need to do and want to do. He likes to play, but he play too much. You know what I mean? And his timing. You know what it is? His timing. He got real fucked up timing. His timing is really bad. Turki is not the end all be all, but Turki is easy to deal with. I'll say that because he making shit happen. When a guy makes shit happen and he makes sure you're getting paid, that type of person is easier to deal with when they just making shit happen. You know what I'm saying? But when you being difficult and you being weird and you fighting with your gender and all of that, like it's different. There's a lot of shit going on with that kid. And a fight with Dev, he don't want to fight Dev because, like I said, I talked to Bill some time ago, and Bill said, "Yo, for real, we knew them guys a long time from the amateurs. They know us, so they know what's up. So what that means is, he know something about this ring, and he been doing it for a nice little while, and it ain't gonna be easy. And we know Tio don't like to go get his food. He like for his food to come to him. So for real, like I said, man, he just got bad timing. His timing just fucked up, and he don't know who he is. He need to do like Wilder did, like go on to like a soul searching type of mission and shit. Like see what's going on with him. Like I mean, understand who he is and what he want out of life and what he could be. You know what I mean? It's like starting school all over. You know what I mean? Go back to the first grade and just figure it all out. You know what I mean? He's playing too much. For real though. He played like a kid, like a young boy. And I think that's why he be talking himself out of fights, or I mean certain people don't want to deal with it. His time is fucked up. And he show his frustration, but he do weird shit when he get mad. You know what I mean? He go put eyeliner on, show up like he Jack Sparrow and shit, and put wigs on, like he just be doing too much. You supposed to be a fighter, be a fighter. You know what I mean? That don't mean you can't express yourself and wear the shit you want to wear, but stop playing. That's not who you are. So just be a fighter. You know what I mean?
To me, it's a fight that I always wanted to see. It's a fight that made sense.
For sure. I believe that.
Makes more sense than Jaron Ennis versus Teofimo Lopez. Both of those guys started their career after 35. Yeah. It was a fight that was supposed to happen for Undisputed.
Yeah.
But he chose to face Kambosos.
Yeah.
All right. If not now, when?
Yeah. And that's the thing with him, right? How come he never rematched the guys he got close fights with? Like how come it wasn't never him and Kambosos too, or him and Sandor? or him and Claggett. Like, why wasn't there rematches with them fights? You know what I'm saying? He got a lot of like unfinished business that he got to make right. And then, you know, Dev, I don't know. Dev is just a bad, when it comes to Tio, Dev is a bad matchup for him. Because Dev is a boxer and he don't like fighting boxers. That's just what it is. And I mean, he figured with Boots, at least Boots will come to me. But it's gonna be harder than that. It ain't what you think. You know what I mean?
I think it's also a built-in scapegoat. Nobody expects you to beat Boots. Mm-hmm. If you survive, you get a moral victory.
Yeah.
Right? Nobody expects you to beat him. None of us think that you're going to win. None of us think that it's going to be competitive.
Yeah.
But with Dev is a rival. Dev is a guy that people currently expect you to beat based off of Dev's last performance.
Yeah.
If you don't, that takes a hit on your stock takes a hit with that. With Boots is, I was daring to be great.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. I think it's just, after thinking about it and talking to you about it a little bit, I think his timing just off, man. He got real bad timing. And that could be that could be a thing. You know what I mean? But that don't mean we care about him. He fucked up already. He said a lot of fucked up shit. He keep playing games. He gonna just be a clown at the end of the day. You know what I mean? It is what it is. Just be a clown. I mean, but clowns make a living too, so.
There's always the circus.
There's always. All over the world they got circus.
Who are you picking in that fight right now?
Between him and Dev?
Yeah.
That's the interesting part. That's why I say that's a great fight. Because we don't know what Dev on. We still don't know after the Ramirez fight. The reason we don't know, because he gave us a lesson on footwork. You know what I mean? Tio, he got like a lot of like compassion. Like he spared that kid. Like I could tell he's not a killer. You know what I'm saying? He's not no real killer. So you put that in the ring together, I don't know. But that's why it's a good fight. Because they know each other and you know, we are where we are. That's a good fight. I think that's a more suitable fight for both of them. For the body frames and where they at in their career, it's a more suitable fight. Fucking with like Boots and all that, like shit like that, no, leave that alone. But you two, yeah, I think that's a great fight. I think it's a big fight, and I think it's a better performance for both of them than what we saw in their previous fights in New York that night. As long as they stop all the hopping out of cabs and shit and jumping in the ring, like stop all that type shit. Keep it indoors and get it popping.